I see only the past. I see only the past. I see only the past in that cup. I see only the past in that pen. I see only the past in that boot. I see only the past in that hand. I see only the past in that face. I see only the past. I see only the past. I see only the past. Well, thank you all so much for joining me today and studying A Course in Miracles. We're reading from the Foundation for Inner Peace version, Lesson 7. I see only the past, here on Sunday, January the 7th of 2024. And yesterday was my youngest grandson's birthday, and this is my youngest daughter, his mother's birthday. He was born the day before her birthday, Rebecca. Happy birthday, Rebecca. I see only the past. This idea is particular. Oh, and I'm Miracle Willie from the Ozarks, forgiveness teacher from the Ozarks. This idea, I see only the past, is particularly difficult to believe at first, yet it is the rationale for all the preceding ones, all the preceding ideas. It is the reason why nothing that you see means anything. It is the reason why you have given everything you see all the meaning that it has for you. It is the reason why you do not understand anything you see. It is the reason why you do not understand. You do not understand anything you see. It is the reason why your thoughts do not mean anything and why they are like the things you see. It is the reason why you are never upset for the reason you think. It is the reason why you are upset because you see something that is not there. Old ideas about time are very difficult to change because everything you believe is rooted in time and depends on your not learning these new ideas about it. Yet that is precisely why you need new ideas about time. This first time idea is not really so strange as it may sound at first. Look at a cup, for example. Do you see a cup, or are you merely reviewing your past experiences of picking up a cup, being thirsty, drinking from a cup, feeling the rim of a cup against your lips, having breakfast, and so on? Are not your aesthetic reactions to the cup, too, based on past experiences? How else would you know whether or not this kind of cup will break if you drop it? What do you know about the cup except what you learned in the past? You would have no idea what this cup is except for your past learning. Do you then really see it? Look about you. This is equally true of whatever you look at. Acknowledge this by applying the idea for today indiscriminately to whatever catches your eye. For example, I see only the past in this pencil. I see only the past in this shoe. I see only the past in this hand. And I see only the past in that body. I see only the past in that face. Do not linger over any one thing in particular, but remember to omit nothing specifically. Glance briefly at each subject, and then move on to the next. 3 or 4 practice periods, each to last a minute or so, will be enough. Easy enough, huh? Do not linger over any one thing in particular as you look around. And whatever you see to your sides, behind you, just be sure that he says, do not linger over any one thing in particular, but remember to omit nothing. Glance briefly at each subject and then move on to the next. 3 or 4 practice periods, each to last a minute or so, will be enough. Okay, well, that's easy enough to do. I see only the past. All right, well, let's go look in our text reading for the day. And we are ready for, we're in chapter 1. Chapter 1, the meaning of miracles. Section number 4, Roman numeral 4, the escape from darkness. And as you're turning there, out of holidays and observances.com, I found that today is actually Greek Orthodox Christmas Day. I think, if I'm not mistaken, at least this year, but maybe every year, it falls on a Sunday. So anyway, today is actually, I said yesterday, but I had conflicting information. And I think it's more accurate as today. So Greek Orthodox Sunday. So since we're looking at Greek Orthodox, let's look at the word for peace in Greek. Maybe some of you might even know what it is. It's Eirini. So peace, Eirini. Peace be to you, Eirini. Okay, also in other Christian churches, it is the baptism of the Lord. It's the Sunday after Epiphany, Epiphany being when the Magi came to Jesus. So in some churches, yesterday was, different Christian denominations have different holy holidays. So some of them, and particularly the Roman Catholic, the Anglican, which is the Church of England, and the Lutherans, all consider today Baptism of the Lord Day, which is the Sunday after Epiphany. So those ones must have considered Epiphany last Sunday. Distaff Day, some people call it Saint Distaff, which there is no Saint Distaff, but it's usually, the distaff is where when you're spinning flax or wool or probably any kind of fiber, and you put it on a stick ready that's the distaff. Not to be confused with the shuttle. The shuttle is what you throw through the warp and the woof to make your next row of fibers. Anyway, the Distaff Day, also known as Old Rock Day, but also Old Rock Day is recognizing, looking at fossils and old rocks. Let's see, what else did I find here about Harlem Globetrotters Day? The first Harlem Globetrotter game was played on this day in 1927 in Hinckley, Illinois. I'm not going to take it anymore. Basically, it's a day to make resolves. I would think that'd be the first, but some people, I guess, by the 7th are ready to make some resolutions what they're not going to take anymore and be about what they really want to do, which is what we always want to be doing, huh? International Programmers Day for you computer nerds. National Bobblehead Day. National Pass Gas Day. And No Pants Subway Ride Day. Those two, I don't know. I heard there were 60 different cities that actually did this No Pants Ride Day, which is today. I think they still wear, hopefully they wear some pants. I say hopefully. I would think they would need to in order to not end up in the slammer. Okay, Tallahatchie Pawpaw. So let's take a look at the Tallahatchie Pawpaw out of Edible Landscaping. It's the last of the Peterson Pawpaws, which are all trademarked by Peterson Pawpaw. The Tallahatchie, what makes Tallahatchie distinctive is its exquisite flavor, smooth texture, great for pawpaw ice cream. It has very few seeds. Tallahatchie tends to bear large clusters, so may require thinning. And then I also wanted to tell you a little bit more in our Permaculture for Beginners book. And let's see, always keep in mind that the underlying principle, chapter 1, native plants, pests, and predators. There are billions of microorganisms living in a suburban organic garden and many tens of thousands of insects and other anthropods, not to mention birds, lizards, bats, and marsupials. Many pest problems in horticulture are caused by an imbalance, and attempting to destroy the pests and weeds through artificial means can frequently lead to further problems. In permaculture, we encourage introducing more life rather than removing it wherever possible. When studying the site of your future permaculture garden, take the following considerations into account, and we'll get into those tomorrow. Soil life, and then we're going to go on into bacteria, fungi, protozoa, arthropods, earthworms, and pests and predators. Okay, well, let's take a look now at the escape from darkness. The escape from darkness involves 2 stages. First, the recognition that darkness cannot hide. This step usually entails fear. Second, the recognition that there is nothing you want to hide, even if you could. This step brings escape from fear. Wow, that's a key concept. When you have become willing to hide nothing, you will not only be willing to enter into communion, but will also understand peace and joy. 2, holiness can never really be hidden in darkness, but you can deceive yourself about it. This deception makes you fearful because you realize in your heart it is a deception, and you exert enormous effort to establish its reality. The miracle sets reality where it belongs. Reality belongs only to spirit, and the miracle acknowledges only truth. It thus dispels illusions about yourself and puts you in communion with yourself and God. The miracle joins in the atonement by placing the mind in the service of the Holy Spirit. This establishes the proper function of the mind and corrects its errors, which are merely lacks of love. Errors are merely lacks of love. That's another, whenever you think of the word sin, think of it as just a lack of love, just like darkness is lack of light. Lack of love is what we call sin, or an error, a mistake. Your mind can be possessed by illusions, but spirit is eternally free. If a mind perceives without love, it perceives an empty shell and is unaware of the spirit within. But the atonement restores spirit to its proper place. The mind that serves spirit is invulnerable. You want to be invulnerable? Then serve spirit. 3, darkness is lack of light, as sin is lack of love. It has no unique properties of its own. It is an example of the scarcity belief, from which only error can proceed. Truth is always abundant. Those who perceive and acknowledge that they have everything have no need of anything. The purpose of the atonement is to restore everything to you, or rather to restore it to your awareness. You were given everything when you were created, just as everyone was. 4, the emptiness engendered by fear must be replaced by forgiveness. That is what the Bible means by there is no death, and why I could demonstrate that death does not exist. And a couple places in the Bible where he talks about there is no death. John chapter 11, verse 25 through 26, Jesus was talking about there is no death there. And then in Revelations chapter 21, verse 4, talks about there is no death. There is no death. And why? And see, that is the emptiness engendered by fear must be replaced by forgiveness. That is what the Bible means by there is no death, and why I could demonstrate that death does not exist. I came to fulfill the law by reinterpreting it. The law itself, if properly understood, offers only protection. It is those who have not yet changed their minds who brought the hellfire concept into it. I assure you that I will witness for anyone who lets me, and to whatever extent he permits it. Your witnessing demonstrates your belief, and thus strengthens it. Those who witness for me are expressing through their miracles that they have abandoned the belief in deprivation in favor of the abundance they have learned belongs to them. And we'll go ahead and read section 5, Wholeness and Spirit. The miracle is much like the body in that both are learning aids for facilitating a state in which they become unnecessary. When Spirit's original state of direct communication is reached, neither the body nor the miracle serves any purpose. While you believe you are in a body, however, you can choose between loveless and miraculous channels of expression. So you could choose between dark or sinful ways to express yourself, or loving ways, either loveless or miraculous. Loveless or miraculous would be sinful or loving. Where are we at? While you believe you are in a body, however, you can choose between loveless and miraculous channels of expression. You can make an empty shell, but you cannot express nothing at all. You can wait, delay, paralyze yourself, or reduce your creativity almost to nothing, but you cannot abolish it. You can destroy your medium of communication, but not your potential. You did not create yourself. That's actually nice to know that God created you and He made you loving. Paragraph 2. The basic decision of the miracle-minded is not to wait on time any longer than is necessary. The basic decision of the miracle-minded is not to wait on time any longer than is necessary. Time can waste as well as be wasted. The miracle worker, therefore, accepts the time control factor gladly. He recognizes that every collapse of time brings everyone closer to the ultimate release from time, in which the Son and the Father are one. Equality does not imply equality now. When everyone recognizes that he has everything, individual contributions to the sonship will no longer be necessary. 3. When the atonement has been completed, all talents will be shared by all the sons of God. God is not partial. He's not a respecter of persons, it says in the book of James. All His children have His total love, and all His gifts are freely given to everyone alike. Remember, it says that God causes the rain to fall on the just and on the unjust, and the sun to come up on everyone every day. We want to be like that too. Have no respecters of persons. Be like God. God is not partial. All His children have His total love, and all His gifts are freely given to everyone alike. Except you become as little children means that unless you fully recognize your complete dependence on God, you cannot know the real power of the Son and His true relationship with the Father. And that except you become as little children is a quote out of Matthew chapter 18, verse 2 through 4, if you want to go back and read that. Great story. The specialness of God's Son does not stem from exclusion, but from inclusion. All my brothers are special. If they believe they are deprived of anything, their perception becomes distorted. When this occurs, the whole family of God, or the sonship, is impaired in its relationships. 4. Ultimately, every member of the family of God must return. Remember I told you I used to believe in ultimate reconciliation? Well, I still do, I guess, but now I realize we're all actually seated in heavenly places in Christ all the time. We just don't know it. We're trying to remove the blocks to the awareness of love's presence. Anyway, ultimately, every member of the family of God must return. The miracle calls him to return because it blesses and honors him, even though he may be absent in spirit. God is not mocked, and that's a quote out of Galatians chapter 6, verse 7. God is not mocked, is not a warning but a reassurance. God would be mocked if any of his creations lacked holiness. The creation is whole, and the mark of wholeness is holiness. You ever want to know what holiness is? It's just the connection that we're all connected in love in God. We're all holy. The creation is whole, and the mark of wholeness is holiness. Miracles are affirmations of sonship, which is a state of completion and abundance. 5. Whatever is true is eternal and cannot change or be changed. Spirit is therefore unalterable because it is already perfect, but the mind can elect what it chooses to serve. The only limit put on its choice is that it cannot serve two masters. If it elects to do so, the mind can become the medium by which spirit creates along the line of its own creation. If it does not freely elect to do so, it retains its creative potential, but places itself under tyrannous rather than authoritative control. As a result, it imprisons, because such are the dictates of tyrants. To change your mind means to place it at the disposal of true authority. And the last paragraph, 6. The miracle is a sign that the mind has chosen to be led by me in Christ's service. The abundance of Christ is the natural result of choosing to follow him. All shallow roots must be uprooted, because they are not deep enough to sustain you. The illusion that shallow roots can be deepened and thus made to hold is one of the distortions on which the reverse of the golden rule rests. The reverse of the golden rule. As these false underpinnings are given up, the equilibrium is temporarily experienced as unstable. However, nothing is less stable than an upside-down orientation, nor can anything that holds it upside down be conducive to increased stability. Okay, well, let's just be sure to do your 3 or 4 1-minute or so meditations. Unless that involves a sense of hurry, then take a little longer. And look about you. This is equally true of whatever you look at. Acknowledge this by applying the idea for today indiscriminately to whatever catches your eye. So you're just going to look around and whatever catches your eye, indiscriminately, non-judgmentally, just look at it and say, I see only the past in this twig, or whatever your eye light on. Do not linger over any one thing in particular, but remember to omit nothing specifically. Glance briefly at each subject and then move on to the next. 3 or 4 practice periods each to last a minute or so will be enough. I see only the past. Thank you all so much for joining me today. I see only the past. I see only the past. I see only the past in this cup. I see only the past in this pencil. I see only the past in this shoe. I see only the past in that hand. I see only the past in that body. I see only the past in I see only the past. Eirini. Peace in Greek. Eirini. And I may not be saying it perfectly for you people that know Greek. Be sure to send me in a proper pronunciation. My email's in the description below. I see only the past. Eirini. I see only the past. Eirini.